and that's in addition to being one of the better players in the game.
Another timeout by Denver. We saw this in the earlier game with Denver and Minnesota, where Minnesota had used a lot of their timeouts to save possessions, and that's what got Denver back into the game. Still a close game. Minnesota came out with a 1-point win, 44-43, but
yeah, both of these teams lost their opening game today, right?
Correct.
Denver dropped by 1 point.
Yep.
To Minnesota, and Michigan played the number 2 seed Seattle and got beat about 22 points.
Yeah. Here comes Garrett Osborne up the court to Adam Scaturo. Adam Scaturo so shifty for a 1.5. You don't see many 1.5s in an offensive chair with his type of abilities. Very good player with Team USA also. Dave Mengen heading up the court. Ooh, with 2 seconds left. There we go for the easy goal. Nice patience.
Got 3 minutes and 44 seconds left here in the first period.
A 9-6 lead for Denver.
Again, I think Michigan's a smart enough team and a good enough team if they'll just play their game. There's no reason they can't hang tough and stay in this game the whole way. So,
for example, right there, great defense caused Denver to call another timeout.
Is that their third?
Correct.
No. They don't have but one more. Want to make mention that we are aware that earlier in the day there were some audio difficulties. We've got great technicians working on it. They believe they've got most of them ironed out. I apologize for anybody who turned in this morning and thought they would get this witty commentary by folks like John and missed it. But there's a lot to be said for silent movies, right, John?
Correct, especially when I'm trying to commentate.
Stay there, Dave. Dave, here it comes. Dave, here it comes. Just stay with you, Dave. Watch your back. Get the ball.
Here we go. Forcing a bad pass.
Yeah.
Turnover, Denver. Michigan ball.
Really, really nice defense by Michigan.
Most definitely.
Staying in it, good pressure, resulting first in the timeout and then in the bad pass.
You'll notice throughout this game, Denver utilizes their low pointers very often.
Of course, they've got excellent low pointers.
Very, very true. Andy Zimmer, number 8 for Michigan, will take this in. He's a low pointer that's been working on team force. Deep pass. Big hit. Adam Scaturo patiently weaving his way through.
You know, you mentioned Andy. He not only playing for Michigan and working, as you said, in the developmental team, but is also a law student.
Oh, wow.
I think he's got 1 year left. Andy's story is the story of a lot of the guys and gals in rugby. That rugby's really important, and it's a great sport. But they also have a lot of other things going on in their lives.
Nice push by Eric Chase, number 22 there. Gets up on one wheel and pushes right through it.
We have a stoppage for an equipment problem by Denver with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left.
Still a 10-8 lead for Denver. Michigan still with all their timeouts, floor timeouts and bench timeouts. Here comes Garrett Osborne up the court with Dave Mengen chasing him down. And
you know, I've had people ask me why in a situation like that would a player like Dave be chasing him, and you never know whether or not the fella's going to keep control of the ball or not.
never know.
Particularly in this sport, yeah.
With having to pass or dribble every 10 seconds, he may try to dribble before he hits the end line and bounce it off his wheel or his front end of his chair. Just the threat of somebody behind you.
Just keeping that pressure.
Yeah.
Yep. You mentioned your team having played Michigan. Did y'all play Denver this year?
Yes, we did. We played them twice, actually. We played them once in Minnesota and once at the Milwaukee tournament. Both times they beat us, but they were close games. You know, they pull away with their experience. It's a lot to be said, not just for having talent, but for having that experience of a Jason Regier or an Adam Scaturo who can just – Jason Regier, he could barely move on. If he doesn't even have to move on the court, and he can direct his whole team where to go. And they listen to him. He's definitely a team leader out there. And we got a timeout by Michigan.
Yeah. Jason's definitely one of the like having a general of the Army. He's that guy on the court that, as you said, just really with his presence and his knowledge, he can control the flow of the game.
No doubt.
And you know, it's not unique to low pointers, but you see a lot of, like, I think of Jason, I think of Eddie Crouch that plays for Lakeshore, I think of Scott, you think of Norm. I'm not sure what it is with these guys, but they really bring a touch to the game that, frankly, you don't always see from some of the high pointers.
They have to see things that other players don't.
Well, if you talk to the low pointers, they'll say it's because they're smarter. I'm not sure that's it.
I agree 100%. Close to the half-court line. Going to want to try and turn them, push them. Turnover from Michigan.
What you really want in a situation like that is to be a little more patient.
Most definitely. And Eric will learn that as time goes on. As much talent as he has.
Sure.
Once you're over that half-court line, you have all the time in the world.
Yeah, there was like 32 seconds left on the shot clock or whatever.
Yeah. Ball rolling around. It looks like a low-point game right now.
You know, John, your team certainly came a long ways this year.
Yeah.
Y'all went, I know, from years of really trying to put a team together, and
just
like all of a sudden,
a game at a tournament.
Right. And then all of a sudden, this year, for several reasons. One is just the maturation of your team.
Sure.
Got a good international import.
Corey Harrower, a 2.5 from Canada.
And
that was the true sign of where both parties helped out each other. She came to our team and brought a new level of training, her knowledge, and we gave her a whole new level of experience playing in the USQRA and playing against better competition.
Every team is entitled, if they choose, they can have one international player a year. You can't bring any more than that. Some teams have a history of doing it every year. Other teams had the experience that Milwaukee did this year of, frankly, just finding that right person.
Correct.
Who had the right point value, and as you said, she certainly has a wonderful work ethic, and also benefited greatly from being around you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate. She stayed at my place for 5 months out of the 7 months that she was here, and we trained nonstop. I mean, it was truly a huge help to myself,
Well, John, I've seen you play over the last few years, and just because you're sitting here, your game changed dramatically this year.
Yeah, I think not only myself but our team.
Right.
We just saw, she forced us to pick up our game, and that's what we want to keep heading in that same direction. Unfortunately, next year she will not be with us, but I have an interesting fact. I was speaking with Scott Hogsett from the Phoenix Heat, and he said there was only 4 or 5 international players in the whole USQRA last year, and I think that's because the Paralympic year
Right,
coming up.
Sure.
Is a little different.
Well, and you look at this Denver team.
Denver scores with 4 seconds left to make it 15-10. Denver lead.
Right at the end of the first quarter, be interesting to see what Michigan tries to do, whether they just try to get it in or maybe try to run a play real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. If you saw that, errant pass picked off and a score literally as the horn goes off.
With an overhead pass from Adams Couture to the low pointer at .5.
I am sure they practiced that. That is the play they were just waiting to run. Yeah. Now, what I was saying about we were talking about your team, and you look at Denver. As recently as 2007, they were national champions.
Sure.
Since then, they've had some personnel changes. And so it's very interesting to watch a team in transition, a team that's got some brand new players, got some guys that really haven't played all that long, still got some holdovers from the 07 team.
Sure.
And they with all of that change, they come in as a 4 seed in Division II. They're certainly not who they may be in a few years. It's one of the great parts of the sport. You look at a team like your team that has made dramatic changes, strides forward. Denver rebuilding. They're a 4 seed. There's several wonderful stories like that in the league.
Sure. This year, Denver came through the Heartland, what we call a super sectional. 12 teams were involved. They transferred from their mountain region, came on over and put together an impressive performance and was able to make it to D2 Nationals. Some substitutions now for the Michigan team. They have brought in Nick Long.
We'll say you say some substitutions. I think it was one sub because I think that's yeah. Well.
Denver's going to run Iron Man this game. They're going to run these same 4 guys the whole game. They had to do that the first game too, so you never know. Attrition could become a huge part of this game.
Well, this is actually a key game for both of these teams.
Sure.
The team that doesn't win is sitting with 2 losses.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. This early in the tournament, you really can't be sitting with 2 losses and be thinking anything other than you're going to try to kind of salvage the weekend. But the team that wins here, the team that wins here is still alive.
Got a goal by Adams Couture, make it 17-10, Denver. This game is far from over yet. 7-point lead usually is a huge lead, but with the timeout situation that Denver's already used 3, Michigan pick up its defense and force some desperate passes, and you never know what can happen.
Yeah, it's interesting sometimes to see Michigan's use of Andy Zimmer. Zimmer's a 1 point, but he's got pretty good speed.
Yeah,
he's got pretty good hands, and you watch them. He was their snowbird. He was way down the court. They hit him.
Looks like we have a break in the action here. I think we'd be remiss to say, Gary, that we can't thank the Fraser Rehab Institute enough for putting on this phenomenal event so far?
Well, Frazier's a veteran at this, and it was can speak just for the association and say when they stepped up last year and renewed their bid and said not only did they want to host nationals this year, but they wanted to host it again next year. So
phenomenal.
That will mean at that point when that's done, that would mean out of the preceding 9 years they would have hosted it 7 times. So Jill Farmer with Frazier does an amazing job with this tournament. She has
Amazing.
a great group of volunteers, and it's usually the same volunteers back over and over again, which is kind of amazing. We all know organizations that burn out their volunteers, and Jill doesn't. She gets the same people back. I'm not sure what her magic is.
Look at that. What a push by Adam Scaturo.
The 2 years before, it was in Birmingham at Lakeshore, which also is a veteran of it, who does a beautiful job of putting on tournaments. In fact, it seems like right now we've basically got Birmingham and Louisville doing them for us, and we'd love to expand that. Perhaps
Sure.
Milwaukee would like to host them some year, John.
I've had a few talks with some people, Gary. Who knows? Maybe we'll try to get a sectional, some type of super sectional there to get some experience.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe this would be the beautiful time to announce that Milwaukee will host in the year 2015. Say, is that okay if we announce that, John?
Oh God! Oh God! I'm being put on the spot here. Nice timeout by Andy Zimmer there. He was being pushed towards the cone, so to save that possession, I believe that's their second timeout used. Gary, why don't you tell us who our sponsors are for this great event?
Yeah, well, as we've commented earlier, this sport really wouldn't function without, 1, its volunteers, 2, its sponsors, and we've got a number of sponsors who just step up year after year, who are so important in the lives of the players, who's so important in being able to broadcast, so important to be able to have the tournaments. We've got Fusion, Melrose, Vesco, Eagle, Excalibur, Astrotech, Coloplast. That gets us all 4 of our wheelchair, rugby chair manufacturers here, and my goodness, they're important in the life of the sport. And the medical groups that, again, not just for the tournament's sake, but in the lives of the players. And we appreciate so much all they do in so many ways.
Dave Mengen just made a very smart move there. He saw Adam Scaturo was near the baseline and just gave him a friendly little nudge over. Any player that the active goal line is near it, neither the offense or the defensive player is allowed to go over that line. And Dave, as the offensive player, saw the defensive player was a little too close and pushed him right over to give himself what we call a power play or a 4-to-3 advantage until Michigan scores.
Yeah, sometimes that little tap at the goal line can get another player out of the game or force the turnover. It can be a very effective, though kind of subtle play, you know.
Also, we mentioned all 4 of our wheelchair manufacturers, Melrose, Vesco, Eagle, and Excalibur. We are having an online auction going on currently right now, which you can get through the link on the USQRA website, which takes you to eBay's auction, where you will see all 4 manufacturers' chairs there. And you feel free to bid online, where the bidding ends Sunday afternoon. It's a great way to get a chair that normally can cost anywhere from $3,000 to upwards of, Dave Mengen said, $10,000. Thank God mine doesn't cost that much.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a $10,000 chair. Maybe
I've heard of a $6,000 chair, but
maybe that's one of Dave's that he's pimped out or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've seen that. But yeah, really, you look at 8 players on the court right now. You're basically talking $35,000-$40,000 worth of wheelchairs.
And that's just with those chairs. That's not including the spare wheels they have, the axles, the wheel bags, just like everything else in our sport. It's so expensive.
Yeah, almost every time there's an equipment timeout, you can hear the cash register ring. As the money coming out of some players' pockets.
Yeah, exactly. Is It's not an investment that appreciates, that's for sure.
Well, there's a very small number of players, very small number, a handful, who have some sponsorship, who one of the manufacturers or various organizations might help underwrite some of the expense.
Sure.
But if you look at these men and women out here playing, you know that every one of them has made a financial commitment.
Yes.
It's not just the hours on the court. It's not just all the energy and the effort that goes in, but there's a financial commitment by them, by their family, by their friends, by however they are funding this.
Eric Chase just scored a goal for Michigan to make it 20 to 15, mounting a little slowly but surely knocking away that lead. It was a 7-point lead at one point. Adam Scaturo takes it in again to make it 21 to 15.
You look at the Denver team with Adam and Jason, and they're both USA players. They're Paralympians. It's really easy to overlook. When you say that, it's really easy then to overlook Ron and Garrett.
Oh my God!
Who are such solid players, who bring so much to that team.
Ron, a valuable 1.5.
Oh yeah.
He's used almost like Michigan uses Andy Zimmer. He's that outlet that they send deep. And Garrett's not a calming presence and a huge help to Adam Scaturo out there. I mean,
and it's so competitive.
Very.
He's such a good competitor out there. I really enjoy reffing him. He
turnover by Denver.
He's kind of fun on the court. So again, Michigan a chance once again to whittle into that lead just a little bit.
Just got to keep their patience. They're over half court now. And I think congratulations are in order to you again, Mr. Gary Pate, for being reelected for president of the USQRA for the next 2 years again.
Well, did you say congratulations or condolences? Thank you, John. It is really a great and good thing in my life. I can't tell you how much.
And we are honored to have you as our president.
It sounds corny, but it is an honor to do this. I look at all the men and women involved in this sport and the hours that they've given. Many of them having been involved a lot longer than I have. I learn something every day. I learn something every meeting. I learn something every player I talk to. It is a unique group of athletes to spend time around. It frustrates me at times.
I hear
it cheers me at times. We've got real issues facing the sport about how we do some things.
Sure.
But
Andy Zimmer with the goal for Michigan.
But it's really nothing but a growth industry at this point. This sport has so much to offer. It's just a matter of branding ourselves better and getting the word out better. And that's really been one of the things we've worked on in the last year, and we'll put an emphasis on in the upcoming year.
Which you just mentioned the word growth. We're proud to announce rugby is the first Paralympic sport this year at London that has sold out all of its tickets for its games being played.
That is so funny to me, because if someone had told me, like several years ago, that I, of all people, would get emails from people asking, can I get them tickets to a Paralympic event? That amazes me that happens in my life. And I've actually had people ask me that. And I think, that is so cool. And I get to say, no, I have no tickets. I can't do anything for you, man.
Nice lead pass by Dave Mengen there.
But
Chase.
I will say this. My wife has said that she will swap some of her rugby tickets for some women's soccer tickets. So if there's anybody watching this who would like to cut a deal,
it's 23 to 18. Denver is still leading
with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second half.
I also have to say one thing. This year, every year I should say, there's a great foundation called the Challenge Athletes Foundation who helps facilitate the grants of a lot of these guys possibly purchasing these chairs. Myself being one of just over 1,000 athletes in all adaptive sports. I was fortunate enough to receive a grant from Challenge Athletes Foundation, and we'll be sporting a brand new rugby chair next season. So thank you, Challenge Athletes Foundation, and I'm sure there are many other players in the league that will be thanking you this upcoming season for new or veterans that have been playing. So
Yeah,
thank you very much.
They do an amazing work, really do. There's a lot of people who have been assisted. I safely assume this is not one of the new $10,000 chairs that you were mentioning.
No. I'm going to be going through Vesco to get my chair.
Yeah.
Obviously, slight modifications have been made to make the chairs better since I last got mine. Nice play. Way to call it out, Dave.
Vesco being one of our sponsors here, and they build a beautiful chair.
Those are mostly the chairs you see on the court with the red wheels. The other popular chair is Melrose or Rhino that's actually on the court right now. Adam Scaturo, that's something you'll see he's so good at. Even with the hit, he will keep his hands on his wheels and keep pushing. Hard to stop him.
You know, if you told me 5 minutes ago that the score was still going to be this tight, I really thought for a minute Denver was going to put some real distance, but Michigan seems to have played back into it a little bit, or keeping it that 5-6 point lead, get a turnover or two. This game can even get much tighter very, very quickly.
Very true. Nice pick by Nick Long there right at the baseline. Tried to use his hips a little bit.
You know, and Nick also is one of those underrated players. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but brings so much to that Michigan team. Is a smart player, and in fact, he's so smart. He's the new first vice president of the association.
Yes.
I look forward to working with him. If you're watching just then, you like to see what Garrett did. He might could have forced that ball down, but he pulled it out. He was patient. He stopped. He passed it off. He set a pick, and Adam got the score.
Great teamwork there. And that is halftime, I believe, with Denver leading 27-21.
No, that was I'm sorry, John, but that was a missed sound on the 40-second clock. It was not halftime. We have 1 minute and 36 seconds to go till half.
They faked me out there.
Well, the horn's the same. There's no way to know. All right, it just goes off. And actually, so that you would know from where we're sitting, we can't see the clock. So if we miss the time or miss the horn, it's John's fault.
Always. Still a 5-point lead for Denver. Oh, great catch by Eric Chase to force that turnover over the head grab, over the shoulder grab, excuse me.
35 seconds, patient. Push, Eric. Come on, bro.
Jason Regier with a great pick on Eric Chase. And Dave Mengen scores to cut into that lead, make it a 4-point lead only now for Denver. And we got a foul on Dave Mengen, number 11 for Michigan. One of the rules, as much hitting as there can be in the sport of wheelchair rugby, one thing you cannot do is hit somebody with your body. Mainly reaching in, punching them in the face, doing whatever you want to do.
Slapping,
Biting.
biting, yeah, all of those.
And we say biting jokingly, but that happened at last year's Nationals. So
Yes, it did.
It's not that far-fetched.
Well, fortunately, it's not a common event.
No.
There's about 45 seconds to go in second quarter before halftime.
Let's see how Michigan operates this. Looks like there should be just under 40 seconds. Shot clock has been turned off. They should try and score last goal.
Yeah, that actually would be big. They could have it back down to four at that point.
Eric's going to try and run this clock down.
Actually, they're going to go ahead and take it, get it to 4, and hope for a turnover. You know, they get a turnover at this point, they can have it down to 3 at halftime. We're at 15 seconds.
See, this is where
that's where it's a gamble. They went for it.
And Dave's real close to making himself in the penalty box for the start of the second half there.
Eric's got the ball, throws it, and in fact pegs Garrett right in the face with it. No, it's not funny to Garrett, but if you'd seen Eric, it was totally unintentional, and Garrett takes it in the face.
But everybody else finds it funny.
Yeah, even the refs laughed at that one. So we're at halftime.
Gary, why don't you introduce our halftime guest here?
We're at halftime with Denver up 29-24. I've got one of the newest players in the game sitting here with me. It's Seneca Davis, who plays for the Lakeshore Demolition. And this is your first year to play?
Yes, sir.
And what is your classification?
As of now, I am classified as a 2.5, but I'm hoping for a 2.0.
So your classification now, is it still provisional?
Yes.
And you talk to us a minute. Tell us how you actually got introduced to rugby.
I got introduced to rugby by my coach, who spotted me at Lakeshore when I was coming to work out. And he spotted me at the front door, and he just said, "Hey, let me see those hands." So he got me that way. And ever since then, I've been enjoying the game and enjoying the contacts and the good guys that I've met these past few months, and I'm really loving it, and I'm hoping to take it as far as I can.
And your nickname is Q?
Yes, Kim.
And that
Q.
comes from what?
SimQ.
SimQ. So you have been injured for how long?
Since November of 2008. It's going on 4 years.
So still relatively new.
Yes.
And had you, since your injury, had you played any sports at all?
No, I have not. I played at Lakeshore. I did a little flag football, just recreational. But other than that, no, nothing major.
Did you play any sports before your injury?
Yes, I played basketball, baseball, football.
So rugby becomes that great opportunity to come back out basically and hit somebody, right?
Oh yes, that's full contact, and that's what I like. So I mean, I'm enjoying being able to hit something.
Hugh, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. That's Seneca Davis, who plays for the Lakeshore Demolition. They've got a game coming up in a little bit. Wish you luck. Hope it goes well for the Demolition this afternoon.
Good luck, sir.
Thanks, Q. So we have 5-minute halftimes, 2 minutes between the quarters, 5 minutes at half. It's basically a pretty short period of time for players who, you look at these teams today. This is their second game of the day. Some of these guys have already been on the court for 60 minutes, pushing nonstop with very few breaks. Not really that much time between the game. So they have 5 minutes at halftime to do everything from hydrating, spraying themselves down. A lot of them have spray bottles that they use to cool themselves off because of some issues with respiration and perspiration. So they have that time to do that. They have 5 minutes to get anything done to their chair that needs doing, whether it's a quick tire change or rebelting in or tightening up their straps or whatever. Actually, the five-minute halftime stays pretty packed for a lot of the teams. And I say all of that, and then at the halftime, the coach tries to make adjustments.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we'd be also remiss to say the pit crews that we call for all these teams. I mean, they're also volunteers, and they're the ones that are running around trying to help out. There's usually 1 or 2 for each team, men or women, that are helping out, trying to fix a flat tire, trying to fix, axles that are stuck in the wheels, spokes that are bent, pickers that are bent. Then try to hand people spray bottles, water bottles.
Yeah,
they're running around.
Working as support staff for a team. That's actually how I got involved in the sport. I did nothing but that for a couple of years, and actually this year at Nationals, I love it when you say women, because this year at Nationals I'm working support for Lakeshore.
Okay.
Kind of returning to my glory days of changing tires and picking people up out of the floor. But you're right. Without the support staff, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult to even run a practice without support staff, much less a national tournament of this type.
I know teams that won't even hold a practice if they can't get a support staff there.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to overlook. You talk about the athleticism of these guys and gals. You can be in the best shape in the world. If you're set flat, this ain't good, man.
No. Well, we're at the start of the second half now. Denver starting off with the ball, also with the lead at half.
Scoring towards their bench, and with the possession arrow for Denver, they take it in and take that extra lead or extra point to make it 30-24.
Yeah, and it's a interesting switch there, because if you look at what happened, Denver's now scored the last 2 goals. So at that moment where Michigan had it down to 4 points, all of a sudden it's back up to 6. That's how quickly the swing can go.
Which is where we were talking about. They took that calculated risk at the end of the half.
Yeah.
Big hit by Adams Couture right at half court.
And while that was happening, Eric scored still another goal for Michigan. He is such a force out there.
Here goes Dave Mengen trying to chase down Adams Couture.
Sorry, we're dealing with a couple of technical issues right now. If you heard us talking to the guy that's making all of this happen. So.
Denver with the inbound from Garrett Osborne to Adams Couture, and straight shot. Eric Chase is going to try and chase him down here. Good push. Talking a little trash to him as he's getting into the goal. Dave Mengen with the ball.
And once again using Andy Zimmer, the low pointer, as the outlet, who quickly hands it off to Eric.
Some of you may be wondering why Andy isn't with that huge space that he has between him and everybody else, why he's not trying to score. All he's trying to do is get the ball over half court, and then he's trying to get it to the offensive players with more function.
It truly goes back to a player understanding his role.
Yes.
Not trying to play above his ability, above his position. Not trying to do everything out there. There are players who are out there to ball handle and to score. There's also players out there to set picks, play defense, be an outlet. Teams get in trouble a lot of times when players try to play outside their roles.
Very true.
They get impatient. They forget what they've been practicing on for 3 months.
It's important in any sport and for any player to know their own role. Look at this defense by Dave. Great push by Ron. He knows he has 10 seconds inside that key to make something happen. And not only that, but with the shot clock winding down on him. Dave mentioned nice catch with the hit bearing down on him.
Nice save. That ball could have gotten away from him easily.
12-second violation by Michigan.
And that was close. It's that split second. It's that split second where the ref is counting, and the ref is watching the line, and the ref is watching the player.
We always have to remind players it's not as much as the players will complain. It might have said 29 seconds on the clock, which meant only 11 seconds went off, but it's not the actual clock that counts. It's the referee's count that counts.
Yeah. It's way too easy to look at the shot clock.
Yes.
And to only go by that. But it's up to the ref to count it, and sometimes the shot clock may start that split second before the ref actually starts the count, or it may start a split second after. And so the ref's count and the shot clock don't necessarily match up.
No goal. Dave Mengen was met at the line by Adam Scaturo, and he was called for what's called in and out. He had one caster wheel probably go over the line, and he tried to he was pushed back and then went back over the line again, which is called in and out. And now you have your classic turnover. Michigan turned the ball over. Denver got the ball and turned the ball right back over to Michigan.
And turned it over for a quick score.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Eric just kind of grabbed it and backed over the line. You know, it's one of the things I love about the sport, that people can score backwards.
Yes.
There's not many sports that have that as a common occurrence.
And Denver uses their last timeout early in the third quarter.
We have 5 minutes, 35 seconds left in the third. Yeah, this is a good time for Michigan to think about what they want to do, to think about how they've played all year, to remember to be patient with some of this. Denver's now out of 4 timeouts.
4 court timeouts. They still have their bench timeouts.
Yep. There's only a 6-point swing right now, a turnover or two, so it's a good time for Michigan to kind of play back into this. And, of course, the converse is true. It's a really good time also for Denver to put them away.
Sure.
Denver has not wasted a timeout. They've used them very wisely when they needed them.
Dave just missed it there, cutting off the sideline for Adam Scaturo. Another good push for a goal.
I think probably Adam has scored the most goals for Denver. Yeah,
I would
watch
assume
him
he's
out
their
there.
leading goal
Yeah.
scorer.
You watch him out there, and
Great lead pass again from Dave Mengen. He has that great arm to throw basically a 3/4 court pass, which is so valuable in our sport. There aren't many people that can do that.
Yeah. And there are several that I can think of who, in fact, can do it, but with absolutely no accuracy. It'll just go everywhere. They have no idea where it's going if they can throw it that far. So
I might be able to get a ball
brings
to half court on a bump pass, but I have no clue where it's going. Just look up. I'm not promising anything. A nice goal by Garrett there. Looks like we're going to have a substitution pretty soon for Michigan with Nick Long coming in. Just want to give you a heads up of what games are coming up next on the webcast. We have the San Diego Sharp versus Shepherd from Atlanta. And then after that, 4:30 game, we have Phoenix against Lakeshore. Those are both, the 3 o'clock and the 4:30 game are more Division I games. Looks like Michigan's has given the ball to Denver twice on a turnover now.
And all of a sudden, the lead's back up to 8. So there's a swing there.
Nice push by Andy Zimmer there. A 1.0 against a Paralympian 1.5. Both great players, though.
Usually teams run two types of defenses. One, what's called a key defense, where you put 3 people inside of the box, which is 8 meters wide by 1.5 meters deep. You can only have 3 players in there at a time for defensively and 1 player out. Or the other type of defense is the full press, basically. You're running up and down with others. Second turnover here by Denver.
And I almost suspect that Denver started dropping back maybe several picks.
They've also used their first substitute. Number 8. Nick Pierce is on 2.5. Michigan can't take advantage of the turnover by Denver and the turnover themselves. Let's see if Denver can capitalize on this.
Yeah, they could have cut it to 6, and now all of a sudden it's back.
Such a huge swing.
Yeah, 40 to 32. Denver.
Number 11 takes it in.
Michigan really needs to have it down in the 4-goal range.
Heading into the fourth quarter.
It's very hard to play. John, as you know, it's very difficult to play down 5 or 6 goals with only
so
1 quarter
tough.
to go.
Because even if you're tied, whoever has the ball basically still has a 1-point lead as long as you don't turn the ball over, which most people don't understand. you have to score 2 to their 1 to even have a shot.
Yes. So this next about 2.5 minutes
It's going to tell a lot about this game.
can probably be the game for Michigan, whether they are really alive into the fourth quarter and going to make a run at it.
Well, Denver's used one of their bench timeouts now, leaving them with only one bench timeout left. I believe Michigan still has one court timeout left in both bench timeouts. Yeah, Gary, it's high. It is high.
John, I'll just go ahead and say this. It's awkward, but I'll get it out of the way. It's such a pleasure to work with somebody who is not only better looking than I am, but is smarter than I am. And I don't mind saying either one of those. And I'm sure that everybody else already knows it, but I just want to recognize.
It's fair enough that you say it, but we all know the truth, and it's the other way around, Gary.
Well,
I'm working with the president of the USQRA. I'm just the president of the Milwaukee Iron, okay?
But there wouldn't be a USQRA if there weren't teams like the Milwaukee Iron. So
Sure. Oh, great move by Dave Mengen. Pushing so hard right now. He may have to use that last time out. Andy, turn. And that's a turnover by Michigan.
Almost kind of a desperation
Yes.
pass, one of those half-court passes that Dave's capable of pulling off, but didn't have a good angle on Eric, or Eric didn't have a good angle on the ball.
A huge thing that a defensive player will try to do to an offensive player is turn his back to his own goal so he doesn't have a chance to look up court and see who he's passing to. You'll see that's what makes Team USA so effective. Even when a player's stopped, they'll try to turn their chair so they can't see up court. Not only are they stopped, but now they can't see up court to where they even think about wanting to pass.
It really takes that player out of the play.
Yeah, and that player has the ball usually. Here comes Eric Chase up the court. He's going to score here.
Nice, clean breakaway.
Score is 42-34. Denver still leading. Born here. If Eric Chase can, Jason Regier is such a smart player. Just looking.
Yeah, and you see him. He doesn't try to do anything other than maintain a position and maintain the ball.
Correct.
He's not trying to be a hero. He's not trying to play over who he is.
Did exactly what he's supposed to do. His team is not asking him to score. His team is asking him to pick and be a leader out on that court. Dave Mengen and Eric Chase were bunched up there for a second. Usually you don't want to have your high pointers close to each other. Want to keep a good spacing so they can pass it to each other.
Yeah, you're really not accomplishing much if it gets like 5-year-old soccer, where everybody's just all around the ball.
And we got
spacing
is
so important in this sport.
True.
We have 29 seconds left in the quarter. Denver's nursing a 9-point lead, and it's going to be really difficult for Michigan to make a difference in this last quarter. If Michigan can stop them here and get a goal.
Now watch. Here we go. Same thing again. Maintaining position, finds his high pointer.
And that's his job that he does so well. They had a nice pass right across the lane.
A 10-point lead now for Denver.
To Nick Pierce.
Shot clock is off. And that's the end of the third quarter. Denver leading 44, Michigan 34.
watch the refs right now. We were talking about the teams not having long at the breaks and whatever. You've got refs. I think today this is probably only their second game to ref, but that break becomes important to them also. They got to come over and get a quick drink of water, but you'll also see the refs come over and talk about what's been happening out there on the court. They do a really good job of communicating with each other, asking each other about a call or reminding each other to look for certain things on the court. That communication between two refs, and it's also having to have two refs who have worked together and they know each other. It's just like on a team where if a team practices together and plays together, they get so they know they can trust that their teammates are going to be in position, their teammates are going to understand what they're doing out there. You certainly want the same thing with refs. You want refs who know that their partner knows where to position themselves, that their partner knows what they're supposed to be looking for. Each ref, as a play develop, has different things that they're looking for. If you're the lead ref, you're charged with watching certain aspects of the play differently than if you're the trail ref. And that way both refs are not just watching the same thing all the time. And if you have two good veteran refs,
Sponsors again.
you have two good veteran refs like Karen and April, they do such a nice job of that. As we move into the fourth quarter, we want to again mention our sponsors and thank them so much for all they do for us individually and for us as a sport, for sponsoring this tournament, sponsoring this broadcast. Melrose and Zesco, Excalibur and Eagle, our manufacturers, Fusion, Astrotech, Coloplast. All of these sponsors have been with this sport a number of years. They not only sponsor us on a national level, but they do a lot on individual club level, individual tournament levels.
We would also like to thank iHigh, who is providing this webcast, these live feeds for all of you out there. Relatively new, with the USQRA using them at least. They have done. They did a tournament down in Florida this year also, where there was a webcast, live webcast down there, and now they're here again helping us at nationals. So we want to thank iHigh.
I really hope this is a long-term relationship with them. They've been great to work with. They've really brought some things to the broadcast that are a real plus for us, and hope this goes on a long time.
Very true. We have a break in the action here. Looks like I believe we're going to have 4 in the key. No, Jason Regier caught for leaving the court. He knows better, but he probably just did it to take a break. When it's me, Gary, usually if there's a good-looking girl in the penalty box, that's why I probably will go there.
Now you're letting the viewers in on a rugby player secret.
Yes.
There seems to be more penalties called if there's a attractive lady working than if there's somebody like me sitting over there.
Garrett Osborne inbounding the ball to Jason Regier. Jason Regier finds Garrett and now is going to head up the court for most likely an easy goal. Yep. Good job by Eric Chase trying to chase him down, no pun intended.
Yeah, but gee whiz, it's one of the great things. There's 7 minutes to go in the game. They're down by 10. It's the second game of the day for Eric, and he never stops.
Never.
He goes all the way down the court, even when the guy's got 2 or 3 push lead on him. He never gives up. He never stops on it. And you see that kind of hustle, that kind of determination through a lot of the players in the game. That they really just push through all of it.
You'll see that play a lot. What Adam Scaturo just did was and then when he made eye contact with his inbounder, started heading up court for the long pass and an easy goal, as you just saw. A lot of teams will try to get away with that about a half a dozen times a game for an easy goal.
And you've seen Denver do that several times today.
Sure. Sure. it really helps when, especially when you watch a Division I game, you may not see that as much. But if you have somebody with speed, where in our sport we say speed kills, a lot of times you'll see a guy just chuck it down the court and yell a name, and that guy will go and get it. Center court should have an easy goal here. You're going to see that the game's going to slow down a little bit. That's what Denver would like, at least.
Yeah, just kind of play the clock a little.
Yeah. Like the old North Carolina basketball four corners play where they used to.
It's not that bad. No, John. It's not bad. John, I'm actually old enough to remember it. I've seen that.
I'm a historian of sports,
okay,
Gary.
well,
I know of the four quarters.
Yeah, but
the old Dean
but
Smith.
you've only read about it. I watched it, and there was nothing more painful than to watch a basketball game end up 18-14. But you know that's also part of the history of this sport.
Very true.
Fortunately, we now have a 40-second shot clock.
Meaning
that sped the game up tremendously. That each team only has 40 seconds to get that ball down the court after the inbound and to score. If you don't score in the 40 seconds, it's a turnover.
Which we've also added more rules on that kind of goes along that are similar to that. It used to be 15 seconds to get the ball over half court.
Yes.
Now it has been changed to it was a huge change in our sport, to be honest.
Okay, so listen to this. You go back to 1994 in the national championships. Tennessee beat Tampa 31-29. Well, a lot of the games are 31-29 at halftime now.
Yes.
Because the game has sped up. You go back to 1992, Tampa beat Quadzilla 29-28. So all of these things have added a lot of been involved in the sport, of things that have done to speed up the game, change the game. Frankly, when you talk about speeding it up, what you're talking about, to some extent, you make it more athletic, you make it more physical, and sometimes you make it a little more violent.
That's true.
The faster the game, the harder the hits usually.
Yes. Unless Michigan can figure out a defense here to stop Denver, doesn't look like they're going to be able to come back. It's tough in this sport, down 9 points, to come back.
Signing off.
Signing off.
You know, in fact, if your day job doesn't work out.
Appreciate all your help.
So, are you doing the next one?
Yeah, it looks like it's just you on this one.
Have you got somebody coming to do it with you?
Oh, yeah, Gabe.
Okay.
Gabe.
On
just going to get my stuff out of the way here for you, Bob.
Thank you, John. Again, that was great fun, man. We'll hook up again sometime, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're doing to that Coke bottle, but there's laws in the state against it.
That's on the other side.
That's the quad.
That's a score for Sharp, number 4. Shepard's inbounded.
Rob Deller.
Rob Deller with the breakaway score. Dan McCluskey coming down to inbound the ball for Sharp. Right now, our score is 1-1.
Who's winning?
The Bears.
That'd be a quote from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Andy Cohn bringing the ball up past the Sam Glore, gets it across.
Sam Glow in a little bit of trouble, looking for help. Dwayne Morrow applying a little pressure. There's a pass by Sam. That's a well-designed play, Bob.
Well designed. Be Andy Cohn with the score right there. Scott Stokes with the inbound from Shepard.
And inbounded to number 23, Rob Deller, moving up court. And that's a pretty easy goal for number 23, Rob Deller.
Straightaway play.
Absolutely. Dan McCluskey inbound to Andy Cohn. And there's the first timeout called by the San Diego Sharp in the backcourt. Bob, how many timeouts do these teams get?
Each team gets 4 full timeouts and 2 coaches' timeouts.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Well, that would be San Diego's first.
We have Justin from Florida. He's our cameraman today. Doing a great job.
There's a heated discussion at the table of what color San Diego is. We're going with neon heated orange.
Neon heated orange?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with a...
While you're thinking about that, Bob, we've inbounded the ball. Andy Cohn, number 11 for San Diego.
Coming around.
Moving up court.
Andy Morrow trying to get him there. Nope.
Dwayne's taking a good angle. They're down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, there's a timeout.
With 3 seconds left.
That is Sam Glore with the timeout. That's excellent defense played by the Atlanta Shepherd.
I'd have to say yes.
Officiating today's game, we've got Aaron and TJ. Bob, that was a quick inbound and a quick score by the San Diego Sharp, making it 3-2.
3-2. Sharp. Andy, number 21, Andy Morrow has the ball. Trying to get it. Oh, calls the timeout.
Oh, and there's the first timeout used by the Atlanta Shepherd. Bob, why do they use that timeout in the backcourt like that?
Well, they have 12 seconds to inbound the ball and get it across half court.
Very nice. Thank you.
With the 40-second shot clock, the entire play, they have 40 seconds to score. But within that, they also have 10 seconds to inbound the ball and 12 seconds to get across half court.
Wonderful. Shepherd inbounds. Rob Deller. Pass to Dwayne Morrow. Pass to
number 3.
Breaking away.
Nate Harmon.